And likewise, in every city we set up its greatest wrongdoers to plot in it. They plot against themselves alone, but they are not aware of it. All the snares and trickeries set against the prophets might superficially appear to represent difficulties for them. But God has also established a system for the setters of snares, and God will certainly keep his promise to the messengers. The prophets and true believers will inevitably emerge victorious. This is an immutable law of God. It is revealed in several verses of the Quran. Some of these read, "Our word was given before to our servants, the messengers, that they would certainly be helped. It is our army which will be victorious." As for those who make God their friend, and his messenger, and those who believe, it is the party of God who are victorious. The lives of the prophets are full of examples of victories over the plots of the deniers. For example, Pharaoh killed all male children and imagined that he had taken sufficient precautions. He oppressed the faithful, but was still unable to hinder the prophet Moses. His people plotted to cast the prophet Abraham into the flames, but God saved him by cooling the flames. The prophet Joseph's brothers wanted to eliminate him by throwing him down a well, but God overturned that plan, freed Joseph from the well, and made him head of the treasury. Traps were also set for the prophet Jesus, but when they tried to kill him, God raised him to the sky, and the deniers' plans were foiled in a manner they never anticipated. God is he who creates as he wills, and who always bestows victory on his messengers. Deniers have always regarded believers who dedicate their lives to winning the approval of God as a great threat to their own twisted, established order. When we look at the history of Islam, therefore, we see that believers striving on God's path by following in the footsteps of our Prophet have always been subjected to verbal and physical assaults, pressure, and attempts to hinder their activities. Believers on the path of God have always been followed and kept under surveillance by deniers, imprisoned, oppressed, threatened, and slandered, and attempts have even been made to kill them. Deniers use the same methods to hinder believers who are closely devoted to their religion of God and who are honest, determined, and dedicate their lives to spreading the moral values of Islam as they did to oppose the prophets. However, It must not be forgotten that such situations that may appear very difficult and troublesome from the outside are actually a spiritual training ground for believers who have fully submitted themselves to God and who trust Him and rely on Him alone. Such troubles are a source of joy and inner peace, a means of purification for believers who hope for God's pleasure, mercy, and paradise. They are an opportunity to draw closer to God, to witness His signs, and see His close interest in the faithful. These struggles between deniers and believers always follow the destiny ordained by God. It is God who creates believers and their enemies. It is revealed in the Quran that God appointed special enemies to the prophets. In this way, we have appointed as enemies to every prophet Satans from both mankind and from the jinn, who inspire each other with delusions by means of specious words. If your Lord has willed, they would not have done it. So abandon them and all they fabricate. In this way, we have assigned to every prophet an enemy from among the evildoers. But your Lord is a sufficient guide and helper. Since it is God who has created both sides, it is also He who determines the outcome. God has ordained in destiny that His messengers will be victorious. It is impossible to vanquish the messengers. This truth is revealed in the Quran. God has written, I will be victorious, I and my messengers. God is most strong, almighty.